De Triumpho Naturae, the triumph of nature over northern ignorance. Lines dedicated to William Benjamin Smith, Tulane University, Louisiana, author of The Color Line. A brief in behalf of the unborn. The northern bigot, with false zeal inflamed, the virtue of the Afric race proclaimed, declared the blacks his brothers and his peers, and at their slavery shed fraternal tears, distorted for his cause the holy word, and deemed himself commanded by the Lord to draw his sword, whatever the cost might be, and set the sons of Ethiopia free. First with the South in battle he engaged, and 4 hard years in an impious warfare waged. Then deaf to nature and to God's decree, he gave the blacks their fatal liberty. The halls where Southern justice once had reigned, he now with horrid Negro rights profaned. Among the free and cursed mockery sate the grinning Ethiop, conscious of his state. But reckless folly can no further run. The will of nature must in time be done. The savage black, the ape-resembling beast, hath held too long his Saturnalian feast. From out the land by act of faraway heaven, to clinging death his numbers shall be driven. Against God's will the Yankee freed the slave, and in the act consigned him to the grave. And people talk about how the end of slavery didn't really make things better for the black. And if people say, oh, one race looks different than the other, and they look more like an animal, and some people say that one group or the other because it's not their group. They think of them more like such and such an animal. And they do this derisively. I mean, humans are animals. And just because it's what one race does or another race does doesn't make it horrid. There's certainly horrid things that every group does. And did the North really give equal rights? The North and the West, did they really give equal rights before the federal government came in and said, yeah, you should do that? I mean, there may have been spots where people and certain individuals and certain people, certain movements or something that treated people as equal. Now, I, for one, am against slavery for, just generational slavery or wars for slaves. Slaves can produce, wars can result in people getting slaves, but that's, again, and a lot of this was a false piety thing. They didn't, they weren't really trying to make things better for the blacks. It's just something that was talked about, particularly after the war was over and done with.